Test 1.
1.
Where were you born?
I was born in Lyon, in France, but my parents are from Argentina.
Listen again.
Where were you born?
I was born in Lyon, in France, but my parents are from Argentina.
2.
I like your shoes. Where did you get them? At that new shop in the centre. Wow, that's an expensive place. Yes, but these were cheap.
Listen again.
I like your shoes. Where did you get them? At that new shop in the centre. Wow, that's an expensive place. Yes, but these were cheap.
3.
Did you like the film?
Well, I thought Tom Hanks was quite good, but the film was terrible.
Listen again.
Did you like the film?
Well, I thought Tom Hanks was quite good, but the film was terrible.
4.
What did you do on Saturday night? We stayed at home. We were tired because we went out on Friday night.
Listen again.
What did you do on Saturday night? We stayed at home. We were tired because we went out on Friday night.
5.
What time did you get up?
Well, I woke up at 7, but I didn't get up until past.
Listen again.
What time did you get up?
Well, I woke up at 7, but I didn't get up until past.
Test 2.
What's my job?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to What's My Job, the game show about offbeat jobs. I'm your host, Wayne Wonderful. Today's first contestant is Rita, a secretary from Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, Wayne. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Joe.
Okay, Rita, let's get started.
Community gardens.
Hi, I'm Laura Lee from WNYZ News Radio here in New York City. I'm standing in front of a community garden. Community gardens are gardens that many people make together. Each person uses a small area to plant flowers or vegetables. Together, they make a community garden. It's a nice way to have a little piece of the country in the city or the suburbs. In fact, there are over 700 community gardens in New York. This garden started a few years ago when the city let people in this neighborhood use an empty lot to make a community garden. But now, the city wants to remove the garden. Let's go talk to someone and see what he thinks about it. Hello, how are you doing?
A barter network.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get started. My name's Carol, and I'd like to welcome you to the City Barter Network. I'm glad you all could come to today's meeting. And I'm happy to see so many people interested in joining our network. There are a few things I'd like to do this morning.
Everyone has an opinion.
Good morning. I'm Terry, your host of Terry Talks to the Town. You know, cell phones have become very popular. What do you think of cell phones? Do you like them? Or do you think there are some problems with cell phones? Call me at 555-5555. Oh, here's our first caller. Hello, this is Terry, and you're on the air.
Who's taking care of the children?
Good afternoon. I'm Julie Jones. Welcome to the Julie Jones Show. Today, the topic is childcare. As you know, in the United States, most parents of young children work and need to use childcare. In fact, more than 50% of families with children in the United States pay for childcare. Some families choose to hire a nanny to take care of the children. Today, we have a nanny here to tell us about the job. Let's welcome our nanny.
Test 3.
Good morning, class. Today, I'd like to talk about endangered and dead languages. So, what do you suppose a dead language is?
Is it a language that nobody speaks anymore? You know, like Latin?
Yes, that's it. Now, how about an endangered language? What's an endangered language?
Maybe it's a language that could die, right?
Right. An endangered language is a language that could die or become extinct soon. Most linguists agree there are over 6,000 languages in the world, and some linguists think that 90% could be endangered or dead by the year 2100. Wow, 90%. Yes, that's a lot. Yes, you had a question?
Why is it important? I mean, why do linguists care about dying languages? There are so many. Besides, doesn't everything die?
Well, yes, everything dies, but languages don't have to die. Besides, when a language dies, part of the culture can die too. Now, this doesn't always happen. For instance, the Manx people on the Isle of Man in the Irish Sea have lost their native language, but they have kept their culture and traditions as Manx. But think about what is expressed through language. Stories, ceremonies, poetry, humor, a whole way of thinking and feeling. When a language dies, all of this may be lost, so culture is lost too. Also, history and knowledge are passed down through language, so when the language disappears, important information and knowledge may be lost too. So those are a few reasons why people care about language loss. All right, now how do languages become endangered and extinct?
Well, I guess nobody speaks them or studies them.
Yes, and this happens for several reasons. The government can make it illegal to teach the language in school. For example, before 1987, it was illegal to teach the Hawaiian language in Hawaii's public schools. It was difficult for children to learn the language. As a result, the language became endangered. Starting in 1987, programs teaching the Hawaiian language began. Today, there are approximately 2,000 students enrolled in these programs, and more new programs are slowly opening. In another situation, if one community has more power than another community, often the less powerful community feels it must learn the language of the more powerful group. Two things could happen in this situation. One, the language could be totally replaced. One example is the case of Native American languages spoken in what is now the United States. Once, there were hundreds of Native American languages. Now, more and more people speak English and not the native languages. Children are not learning the languages, so when the last speaker dies, the languages will die too. If this continues, Native American languages will become extinct. So the language could be replaced, or the less powerful community could keep their native language and learn the other language too. An example of this is in Greenland, where students learn Kalaallisut and Danish. They are bilingual. They learn both languages, so they won't lose their native language. This can help save endangered languages.
So, are people doing anything else to save the dying languages?
Yes, linguists are trying to save endangered languages. Linguists help create community programs where people can study the language so the language won't die. Also, they try to preserve as many endangered languages as they can. They make videotapes, audio tapes, and written records of language with translations. They also study the vocabulary and rules of the language and write dictionaries and grammar books. Okay, that's a lot of information for one lecture. We talked about endangered and dying languages, why it's important to save languages, how languages die, and how people can save endangered languages. Great. So, for next time, please read the next chapter in the book.
Test 4.
You will hear an extract from an introductory talk given to a group of students who have just entered a university residential college. The speaker is the principal of the college.
Good morning, and welcome to Scholastic House. I am delighted to see you here. It is my duty to explain to you some of the history of our college and some of the traditions which I hope you will uphold. The idea for Scholastic House was expounded by Samuel Wells in 1898. Wells was a visionary whose ideas were well ahead of his time. He wanted a college which would encourage friendship between people of different races and nationalities. Wells died in 1900 before he could see the college in action. Scholastic House finally began operating in 1903 with 10 students. Those students came from Asia, Europe, and the Americas. At that time, Scholastic House accepted only male students, although it has been coeducational since 1963. 9 of these foundation students went on to lead illustrious lives. The only exception died tragically on his way home from Scholastic House to Sarawak. He had only recently graduated with an honors degree in law, and he was robbed of a brilliant future. The other 9 students, as I said, led very fulfilling lives. 3 became political leaders. 3 became doctors. And perhaps the most famous graduate became a university teacher and was responsible for the introduction of modern teaching training methods in his country. 2 of the original group became senior engineers and went on to deeply influence the way the water systems of their country were exploited. The college ran into hard times during the period of the Great War, 1914 to 1918, when the charter of the college was interpreted to mean that neither students nor staff could take part in the war effort. Many people felt that this indicated a lack of national spirit, and the walls of the college were frequently marked with graffiti. Meantime, outside the college, tens of thousands of young men went away to fight in Europe, never to return. The college was building a reputation for learning and for tolerance of opposing views. Scholastic House debate and discussion nights were open to the public in 1927 and have been available to anyone who wishes to attend ever since. It is a proud tradition of the college that any view may be expressed, provided that it can be defended intellectually. Over the years, topics which were controversial at the time have been discussed and debated.
Now listen to the second half of the recording.
As I said, the college has a proud history of publicly examining controversial issues. Why should we do this? The publicity we receive is often sensational, and there is no joy in encouraging argument for its own sake. In fact, that sort of discussion just increases tension. The only legitimate reason for our behavior is that it casts light upon the topic in question and informs the debate. And controversial topics are the ones which most need informed attention. As the world forges ahead, we often find our scientists have outstripped our philosophers. We frequently develop scientific marvels without realizing their full implications. Nowhere is this more obvious than in medicine. We are now able to keep people alive far longer than before, But this medical ability must be measured in relation to the quality of those lives. I urge you to spend your time at Scholastic House wisely. You are the heirs of an excellent academic tradition, of which we can all be justly proud. It is your responsibility to continue this tradition of querying where our world is going. Progress is not always upwards. I wish you every joy in your time here, and I hope that I will hear much well-informed debate from you.
That is the end of Section 4. Now you have some time to check your answers.